as Paul van Meekeren is cut away for a single. In fact, it's going to be a couple as Vivian Kingma's rather innocuous day continues. A misfield, a fumble from him, and Irie so quick he takes off in a flash. Roars of Nepal. Nepal ring around the ground for the first time today. Be a crucial 2 points, these ones, for Nepal. I don't think even the most optimistic of their fans would have expected 2 wins from 2 against the 2 European Premier associates in their conditions. I know we're not in the Netherlands, I know we're in Scotland, but not altogether different. Interesting fielding position Max O'Dowd is in. He's not out fully at a long off. He's kind of 15 yards off the rope as Irie gets out his favoured cut shot and gets back for the second very quickly. Dutch look as though they're just being run ragged a touch here. Max O'Dowd doesn't really know where to turn or what to do. They've been outplayed for the majority of this game, Mel Farrell.
Yeah, they have. And look, it's obviously been a real blow losing their captain, Scott Edwards. And we've seen the effect of that, missing him with the gloves as well as captaincy. Just a few fielding mistakes. But you go back to how well Nepal fielded, and they barely put a finger or a toe wrong.
Cannot bowl there to Dipender Singh. He loves to cut. Van Meekeren isn't moving as fluently as he did in the Netherlands. It can't be easy to warm up for each of your spells here in this bitter cold.
It's difficult to... I love that you use the phrase warm up, Lenny, because I think that's absolutely impossible. Absolutely impossible to warm up in any way, shape or form. But it just hasn't been as clinical from the Netherlands.
Don't think they got enough runs. They'll always scrap away with their fielding and they got a fine bowling attack, but don't think 225 on this surface was near enough. 260 in the game, 225 too few for me. Even if they could have got up to 250, maybe a different kind of ball game then, but it's another good test for Nepal early in this Stuart Law era as to whether or not they can be more clinical and more ruthless than they maybe were certainly in ODI cricket at points over the last 12 months. That'll be a wide outside the off stump.
Certainly at the moment you would much rather be in Nepal's position.
18 wides for the Netherlands now in this second innings. 17 for Nepal in the first. That's
how much of a factor do you think the wind is in that?
Yeah, huge factor.
It's well, it has been consistent for both sides.
Crowd really finding their voice and trying to cheer Nepal on.
Yeah, they certainly were the extra fielder or extra squad member in the last game.
Looks for the Yorker, but just clipped into the leg side for what will just be a single this time. Great communication between Irie and Arif Sheikh in between the wickets. End of the 41st. It is 174 for 4. Bowling figures here for Netherlands. I think they've missed a trick by not getting a sixth bowler into the game in some capacity. You have a couple of options there with Vikramjit Singh and Lion Cachet.
Yeah, well, they've still got 2 overs from Kyle Klein. Look how tight he's been. Van der Merwe as well. They did have to rely on Michael Levitt for full 10 overs, and he took 2 wickets, bowled really well, thought, in that first spell. When he came back for his second spell, he was a little looser, and the problem is because they've had not a big total to defend. Just any mistakes are punished so severely.
Here is Vivian Kingma, who's pulled away in sensational style. And those fans over there are loving every second. Hitting with the wind, gets it up into the air, and it goes well over the head of Vikramjit Singh. Second maximum, and it again goes to the bat of Arif Sheikh.
Well, that fan, I thought he had a cape tied around his shoulder, and I thought he was going to take off like Superman then, trying to take that ball.
Great job by Vikram Singh finding that ball.
Yeah. That helps matters. The run rate required is now well under a run a ball, down towards that 5 and over. They don't have to do anything crazy. They don't actually need the power hitting that comes behind them to get them out of a situation. They just have to bat sensibly.
Yeah, just thinking back to that game in Voorburg where the Dutch pulled it out of the fire as if from nowhere. There's a few similarities, but it's not the exact same. As you see the 6 again, great strike from Arif Sheikh. That day the Dutch made 237 for 7, which felt a bit under par. And after 40 overs, USA were cruising along. They were, in fact, 41 overs. They were 200 for 5. So they needed 38 to win off 9 overs at about 4 and over. Somehow, mainly thanks to Kyle Klein and a few other moments of magic, USA collapsed 218 all out. So they will keep fighting, the Dutch. They won't stop believing. There's still more than 40 runs required to win here. That drop of Arif Sheikh, though, is looking incredibly costly, isn't it? Lion Cachet dropping him on 25.
Well, it certainly is. Might be the key moment in this entire match. They still do have 2 overs from Klein, who hasn't taken any wickets, and so they must be due, right?
They've got to get Klein into the game now.
Yeah.
It can't wait any longer. It was Klein actually in the 43rd over against USA that sparked that collapse. He picked up 1. Arjan Dutt, who's not in the team, got another. Van Meekeren, another. He got 2 actually, and Kingma got 1.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you, Lenny, that if they hold him back for the last couple of overs, I think it's just going to be too late.
Yeah, he's got to come in now. Thought Klein might actually bowl this over, but he chose to persist with Vivian Kingma, did Max O'Dowd. Another short ball. Not sure of the tactics here from Kingma as it's hacked away and hacked away for 4. Diving effort in the deep, doesn't cut it off, and the Dutch, well, they're in danger of being blitzed away here. Nepal hunting down 2 famous victories inside 3 days.
And what a remarkable start to their tour of Scotland. That would be just too short. It wasn't the most elegant shot. Doesn't matter because the result is 4 runs. And they are edging closer.
Really was a hack into the leg side, but very effective from Irie. Really not sure about this short ball tactic or